Hi, I'm Derek. Love it or hate it, social media is here to stay. It's been around for some time and there's always new ones coming out. Every business is pretty much on social media nowadays. So I'm going to be sharing with you how to build your marketing system on social media for your construction business. So before we dive in, give this video a big like, thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. YouTube algorithms will appreciate it, and make sure you subscribe as well to get awesome content like this all the time and really boost your construction business. So social media marketing, it is so important nowadays. Pretty much every business knows about it. It can be very time consuming. So having a system in place to make sure that first of all, you're hitting the mark and actually getting some traction, not just pumping out a bunch of content and not getting any leads or any benefits from it. But second, it's not wasting your time trying to put out content all the time in different ways. So I'm be sharing with you different systems that you can put into place to help streamline it and make it more effective. The first area we're going to talk about is branding and messaging. So branding and messaging is so important because there's a lot of noise, right? The social media is all about noise. People are posting constantly, multiple times a day sometimes. And how are you going to stand out? How are you going to make sure you're actually reaching your ideal, client or, people that want to do business with you? And the first thing you want to think about is your ideal client. So who do you want to reach, right? Who is your ideal client? For a lot of construction business owners, it's like, I want to, have an affluent client who's not, concerned about money, but just wants, good quality. And a lot of people are going for that, but that may not be the best for your business. And figuring out like your ideal client, where they're located, what kind of range, are they family? There's lots of different things that go into it. If you want help with any of this, drop a comment below. I do read the comments. I will answer. If you want specifics, or I've got templates and different questionnaires available for this as well. Messaging matters so much. So what's your messaging like, right? When you show up on social media, do you just look like, a carpenter on the tools on site, which is, fine and great if that's what your business is? Or do you look like more like a design build where you're showing like finished products and your messaging is very much catered to like design or functional, renovations or whatever. So be cognizant of your messaging and try to stay consistent. Even if your business kind of does a lot of different things, like renovators, generally are doing a lot of different types of projects and everything like that, but try to keep your messaging consistent. Like if you like to do full, main floor or home renovations, that's what you should talk about. That's what you should show. That's what kind of topics you should be doing constantly. Not like flipping from like how to, like why renovating a garage is important or adding a garage to your house. And then the next day you're doing kitchens and then a bathroom and then, a roofing thing. Like it's okay to show projects that you're doing, but try to have some consistency so that people like clue in like, hey, this is what they do. I want this. It's like, it'll make the sale easier and it'll make people want to reach out to you sooner. So there's a lot that goes into messaging, and that's part of like setting up a proper system for your social media. And then marketing versus sales, right? So marketing is one thing, sales is another thing. And the idea is your marketing is tied to your sales. The marketing that you put out on social media should generate into your ideal clients and into sales. Now, it's very hard to track if you're just doing like organic type of social media. So it's great to make sure that you're asking clients like, hey, where have you seen us? And getting some feedback, and also having some sort of tracking system where you're tracking kind of like how engagements are, how many followers you have, or like across your different systems, and how many posts you're putting out, how many clients are contacting you, and things like this, so that you can figure out, hey, which platform is working for me, which posts have resonated with people. Having some feedback in the loop between marketing and sales. And then, is this making sense? There's a lot that goes into this and setting up the system. Branding and messaging is kind of like the preliminary work that needs to get done before you start, producing content. In the next section, I'm going to be talking about specific, systems for posting and things like that. Finally, with branding and messaging is set up your profile. You need to have a profile that's set up. It should look very professional. It should be, just like, a mugshot of yourself, but, with a friendly smile on your face, something fairly clean and consistent across platforms. So if you have the same like sort of headshot on your different platforms, or I don't like using a logo for your profile picture. I don't think it it's like not personable, but you do you. But at the very least, it should be a consistent photo across platforms so people know, like, hey, if they see you on Instagram, oh, that's, you know, XYZ Contracting, John Paul or whatever. And if they see you on LinkedIn, it's like, oh, same guy, right? It's like repetitive touch points, and they can see the consistency. Setting up your profile as well with, you know, your location is key. People, you know, if you're advertising that you do tiling and they have no idea where you are in the world, they're not going to reach out to you, right? So set up your profile, pretty straightforward. The second area we're going to talk about, moving on, is systems. So the actual systems of like, how do you get content out there and how do you do it effectively? So the first thing is scheduling posts. You want to batch your content. So create, you know, 4 or 5 different videos, or create a few different, like maybe a long form, you know, writing thing, depending what I like videos because it's easy to kind of get on and talk and get through it. It can be a little intimidating at first, but I enjoy it. Some people like writing. They're much better at writing out things. Maybe you just like to take pictures of your sites and throw up, you know, a quick little whatever thing, but do that, you know, once per week. So get pictures throughout the week or whatever, sit down for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, build out some content for the week. If that's, you know, 1 post, 2 posts, 3 posts, just do it consistently, and then schedule it out in Facebook groups. You can usually schedule it. There are programs like Buffer is the one that I've used before. Just a word of caution, when you do use a scheduling program, the social media platforms may not give you as much reach with what you're posting. So I'll tell you a way that, you know, to get around that you can still kind of schedule it out and not have to worry about it. So another system is standard colors, look, etc. So it kind of goes with your branding. But again, with your photos, you can have like just a standard sort of banner with your logo on it, or standard color around the side. And you can use a program like Canva, is really good, online, free. You can have a template, you just take the photo, put it in there, bang, it's done, right? So have some sort of like standard look to your posting so that people know, oh, hey, that's them. Oh, hey, that's them. You know, not that they're all like exactly the same as far as like what you're doing, but have a bit of branding, have some consistency, make it look professional. Another system to get into place for your posting is like a social planning doc or a Drive folder. So if you got like, you know, Google Drive is the one that I like to use. Have a folder and you'll drop, you know, content in there. You can have different folders. So you have a folder for, you know, posts ready to be posted, you know, generic photos ready for creating posts, or however you want to like name them, but have a few different folders. And generally it's like a timeline. Like one is kind of like content dump of things like there. You'll have like a doc that like for ideas. So if you're on the job site, you're driving around, you're watching TV or whatever, and then all of a sudden an idea comes up like, oh, that'd be a great post. You can open it on your phone or wherever, like a Google Doc or something like that, drop in the idea, so that when you go to batch your content for the week, you just look at your, you know, your ideas and you have like a bunch of things that you can post about. So that is a system in and of itself. You could also share that folder. Are you still with me? I know I'm going on here a little bit, but there's a lot to it, but it's actually not overly difficult to get set up. And again, if you want help with it, reach out to me, drop a comment. But you can have a Google Sheet or folder or file, and you can share that with someone else who can do the posting for you, right? And we're gonna get to that on the next thing here. So you can hire like a virtual assistant. It could be someone local, like, you know, if you have an assistant, or, you know, a family member or whoever, if, you know, you don't want to hire somebody, or it could be someone overseas. You know, there's very cost-effective ways to have a virtual assistant, and you'll have essentially you drop like posts in there, and then you have a date on it. Your virtual assistant comes in once a week, or, you know, every other day, takes the content and posts it. And there's a way to set this up so that they can, you know, have access and post on your behalf and all that kind of stuff without, you know, security issues or whatever. So again, there's not going to dive into the specifics of that, but there's a great way to do it. And this is a great way to offload some of that work that you're doing and have a virtual assistant take care of it. Now, the final area I'm going to touch on for, you know, social media marketing systems is like, which platform should you be on, right? Does that make sense? Like, I don't start on every platform. Don't try to be, you know, doing stuff here and there and everywhere. It's just going to be confusing and probably not effective. So first off, you know your ideal client. Which platforms are they on? If you don't know, just ask them, you know, hey, what are you using on a regular basis? Are you more of an Instagram person, or, you know, YouTube or Facebook? What kind of social media platforms do you use? Get some feedback, you know, customer research and figure it out. But I like YouTube a lot, obviously. That's probably where you're watching this because it's evergreen, and if you do it in the right way, you can probably have clients who are searching for your specific service and your video come up. And there's certain ways to do this. Reach out to me, I can help you with that. But YouTube's great because it's evergreen, right? You can do the work, you can make a video and you can put it online and it stays relevant. Not necessarily that's always going to be generating views if it doesn't have any searchability, but you can always have it available and people can find it. Then there's like Instagram, which is great for design. I find Instagram is very effective at reaching a lot of people and can generally grow pretty quick. There's a few drawbacks, I guess, just because it's such a streamlined system, which is kind of makes it easy but difficult at the same time, if that makes sense. And then Facebook's like the huge one, I guess. It's probably the most go-to for most contractors. It's the most widely used, I would say, for the demographic of clients that most contractors have, you know, that kind of bit of older age group. And Facebook groups are great. You don't have to have a huge following or like, you know, 20 whatever thousand, you know, connections or anything like that. You can go into groups. You probably have a local trades group in your city. So whatever your city, figure out the groups that are in there, and you can just kind of post your content or, you know, ask people questions, be involved in the group. Word of caution again, don't spend a ton of time on social media. Do what you got to do to get some marketing and advertising out there. But I wouldn't waste a ton of time being active on social media all the time. And then finally, LinkedIn is a big one. LinkedIn is great when you're searching for specific people. So the way that I like to use LinkedIn or suggest for my clients is finding other people for referral networks. So this could be like property managers, designers, architects, real estate agents, so maybe moving or cleaning companies or whoever. So figure out like who would be a good like business relationship to find, and where you could refer work to them, they could refer to work to you, and you could work together. And you can search for these kind of people in LinkedIn. There's a very like great way to be able to search and use it for lead gen in that way, and like get very high value targeted relationships with people in your area, where you can set up a referral network and get, you know, business that way without having to, you know, like there's different ways to use social media. It's not just posting and hoping people will contact you, but there's ways to like find people and search for you know, high value possible clients or people to do business with in your referral network. Hope this has helped you. If you have any questions or anything, make sure you drop in the comments. Also, check out the description below, a wonderful resource there called How to Build a Business That Works Without You. And the key is while still making money. So free course for you. It's not a long course, but it's jam-packed with great information, how to start systematizing your business, whether that's, you know, your marketing, your sales, or just hiring employees, your financials, like all the different business systems that you need to get in your business so you can start to scale and grow and save time and increase profits and all that good stuff. Check out the description, get the course. It's free. You've got no reason not to get it, and it's gonna help your business tremendously. Here's to the best with your social media marketing. I hope you get, you know, 1,000 subscribers tomorrow and things just take off for you. There is a right way to do this and a way that you can do it effectively without spending a bunch of time and get clients from it. So all the best.